Hello there, this is the Cowboy again. This is part 2 for the bayonet issues with the Russian SKS. And as you can see, very plainly, I did get it off. Now, I did a little research, and I understand that it was very common for them to, I'm still not really sure of the terms, but for them to peen or pin weld or something. I don't know if that's the right view or not. You can see that. I'm trying to see in my camera here. You can see on either side of where that screw hole was, there is these little dots, indentations. And basically what the Russians did was, I guess with the rigors of battle and just from this thing being fired and stuff, this screw, this one right here, would work loose and fall out, and the bayonet would come off, and that wouldn't be very good if you lost your bayonet on the battlefield if you ran out of bullets. So what their solution was when they screwed these things in, they'd take a little pin and hammer and just they would do a little tack on either side just to expand the metal and hold the screw in. Now I've heard of a lot of people having trouble with this, and different people have come up with different ideas of how to get it off. Most people just decide to cut the bayonet lug right off. But here in Canada, you can't have a bayonet on the firearm while you're hunting with it. So, which pretty much the only time you can be out in the woods with a firearm is when you're hunting with it. So, other than going to the range, these guns are pretty much useless as long as these bayonets are on. So if you're unfortunate enough to get one that's been pin welded like this, you're pretty much stuck. So I have come up with a solution to it. So this is a solution to this problem. It works. If you have a better idea, then feel free to do that. But this worked for me, and it did minimum damage to the gun. So I was pretty happy about that. If you can use this method, more power to you. Because like I say, this is sort of a pain in the butt issue. I bought this gun. I actually bought another SKS. I don't know if I told this in the previous video, but when I first bought an SKS, I purchased it, and the gun company I got it from, the gun dealer I got it from, sold it to me, and when I got it home I noticed the barrel had been like extremely bent or warped or something at some point, and it was way off. Like you can actually look down the barrel, and the barrel was like veering to the right. It was pretty bad shape. So I called them up, and they're actually pretty good about it. They brought it back. They actually gave me a box of shells for the mix-up. So then I brought this baby home, and this is 1950. I was going to say 51. I believe the first one was 51, but it's marked right there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's 1950 Russian SKS. And these are pretty sweet little guns. I mean, they're not tack drivers or anything, but for their purpose, they're a very decent little gun. Good for deer or anything under that. I wouldn't recommend using it on moose or anything of that caliber. But yeah, deer size game and down, white-tailed deer and down, very nice little round. Very light recoiling. Now, the method I use to get this bayonet off is, if you're familiar with these guns at all, which once again, I know I shouldn't do this so much in my videos, but I'm going to assume you've seen an SKS, and if not, you're just going to have to take my word for it. The bayonet is on here with this screw. This goes through here. It is not threaded on this first half of the bayonet lug, but it is on this half. So this is the only half you're going to have to worry about. The right side hole is not threaded, the left side hole is threaded. And so what you're going to want to do is, when this screw is in here, like this, I don't know if you can see that on screen or not. Yeah, I think you can. Yeah, okay, you can. When this screw is in here like that, you're going to want to get, I took a titanium drill bit, and I just drilled just deep enough to get in the end of the screw, not in the bayonet lug at all, because you don't want to damage that, unless you're going to cut it off anyways, which a lot of people do, but I didn't want to mess with that. So you just drill in the base of the screw. You can see that right there, I think. That little hole, I made that. And what that allows is the metal to compact when you turn it. Because the whole idea is you can't turn this screw after it's been peened or tack welded, whatever you call that, pin welded, whatever they call it, I don't know. But basically the metal has been expanded to the point where that screw won't turn. So when you drill that hole in the end of the screw, it just allows enough room for the metal to contract in on itself and that screw to be turned out. It does no damage to the bayonet lug at all. And as long as you're careful drilling that hole in, don't slip and tear up your bayonet lug. I mean, it worked really well. I was actually very pleased. Just get some WD-40 or something and spray that on there. Keep that oil on there. Just keep it lubricated while you're drilling so it doesn't overheat or mess anything up. And I mean, it worked. I've been messing with this gun for about a year, seriously, trying to get that bayonet lug off. Didn't want to do any major damage to the gun, but I wanted it off. And anyways, I found finally the other day, I just went out and bought a drill bit for my drill and took it to it, and I had it off within maybe 5 minutes. So I was pretty pleased with that. Thought I'd share it with you, because I know there are other people out there that have gotten SKSs that are pin welded like this and do want to take them off without cutting the bayonet off. And I thought I'd share that with you because you might want to try the same method. Now, the thing I think is to get is you got to get the drill bit that I tried 2 different drill bits. One of them was very smooth on the end. I do not know drill bit terminology, so some of you handymen out there might be cringing as I'm talking here, but with my limited knowledge, the drill bit was very smooth on the end, and it just sort of spun on the metal. So you want to get, don't know if you can, I'm sure you can, but it's got to be a metal drill bit for drilling into metal, because they're sharper on the end and they can actually bite into the metal right from the flat, because these screw tips are rounded out, so they're very hard to catch. You're probably not going to know what I'm talking about unless you're actually there in the pits doing this. So, yeah, you just get a drill bit. There's titanium, harder than the steel, because this is pretty hard steel, and very sharp on the tip. You're going to want something that's going to be able to bite into that metal right away and start pulling and digging. But yeah, I mean, it worked very well, and the bayonet came off. Also, what I'm going to buy, and I would recommend you buy too, is you can get bolts off the internet. This bolt, I'm sure you could use it, but it's not as strong as it was, so I'm probably just going to put it in a bag of parts somewhere, and with everything else. And what I'm going to do is, off the internet for $6, $7, somewhere in that range, you can get a bolt that goes through, and it's got a nut on the end and a little spring washer, so it'll hold that on. And so that is just a quick change. You can quickly put on a bayonet and quickly take it off instead of messing with this sort of junk all the time. So that's really nice. You can, if you want the bayonet on there for going to the range or just displaying it or showing it off, you can stick that on there. If you want to go hunting with it, you can just undo that little bolt, take that off, throw it in a bag somewhere so you don't lose it, and you're off to the deer stand. So like I say, thanks for watching. I hope you find that useful. Canuck Cowboy out.